Hello, hello. Let's get that volume turned up there. All right. All right, EJ, welcome. How's it going? Everyone turn on your cameras. Let's pretend we're in person. This is as close as it's going to get to an in-person meeting. So, turn on your cameras if you'd like to join us. All right. Hey, Becky, how's it going? Hello, hello. I've got everybody on mute, but I'll unmute you from time to time if you have questions and things like that. But it looks like we've got lots of people coming on, so we'll keep everyone muted by default, and then we'll unmute as necessary. Don't be bashful. Turn on your cameras. Let's pretend we're all in person. Hello, hello, Andrew. Welcome. How's it going, Michael? Thanks for joining us. Now, some of you don't have your cameras on, but let's welcome everyone anyway. We've got Becky, welcome, Eric, Jason, Kathy, Maddie, Michael, Abby. Hello, Kathy. Welcome, welcome. Michael, Abby, Colleen, and still coming in. Jason, welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is gonna be fun. All right, let's get the chat let's get the chat warmed up. Everyone put in the chat where you are from, what state you are in. That way we'll know. I know some of you it's brunch, some of you it's late lunch. So thanks for joining us no matter where you're at. Let's see here. Let me find my chat. Hold on here. Where is my chat? Oh, there's my chat. All right. Pause recording. Chat. Awesome. My chat's working. All right. From Pennsylvania, Eric. EJ from Texas. Michael from Houston, Texas. Florida from Kathy. We had a late lunch in Florida, New Jersey, Jason, Pennsylvania, Andrew, Brandy in California. Hey, this is brunch for you, Brandy. And Mark, another brunch. Welcome, Mark. Becky from California. Hey, so maybe brunch is maybe we like brunch. That's a good time, huh? We like the brunch hour, it looks like. Let me make sure everybody's still able to get in. Long Island. Welcome, Colleen from Long Island. All right. I'm assuming since you're responding that you can hear me all right. It means my little microphone here is working, so that's good. Awesome. Good deal. Hey, Jocelyn, welcome. Thanks for joining us. You can keep your camera on if you want. We don't mind. Nobody come as you are. This is a come as you are. All right. I like to see everybody's faces, then I can tell if you're falling asleep on me. If you're gonna fall asleep, just go ahead and turn off your camera so I don't get too offended. No, just kidding. I don't get offended. You can fall asleep if you want. Alrighty. Okay, I'm letting everybody in. It's only 2 minutes after the hour. Put in the chat if you're just getting logged in. We're encouraging everyone to turn on their cameras. We're gonna have a party here, pretending we're all together in person. I'm in northern Utah. And so I am a long ways from some of you, so this is as close as we're going to get to being able to be in person. But put in the chat where you are from, so I know where everybody's at today. But if you're just joining us, again, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Maddie and Mark and Michael and SD just all joined us. Jocelyn, I'm going to eat lunch quick, and we'll turn camera on after. Hey, that's totally understandable. This is a lunch and learn, so you're all welcome to eat. And if you need to eat while you're listening, that is great. That is the whole point here, so that is not a problem. Sorry, this is a little tricky. I've always done webinars. I've never done a meeting like this, so I have to keep letting people in. We've got lots of people in the waiting room, so I guess I have to keep letting people in. Admit all. All right, we're letting everybody in. Make sure everybody can join us. All righty. Washington, Dan from Washington, welcome. Maddie from Colorado. We're in the same time zone, so good lunch. Good early lunch, right? Good early lunch for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone just 2 more minutes to get logged in. one more thing I want you to put in the chat because I want to get a feel for our audience today, and tell me the ages of your kids. I want to know if we've got kids in high school, if we've got kids that are already in college, or if we've got some young kids on the call. I have one of each. Pretty much one in every grade, it seems like. 7 and 10 from Samantha. Eric, that's coming in fast. All right, Mark, a 19-year-old. Andrew, 21 and 19. So Andrew, I'm guessing in college or close to college. Is that right? All right, perfect. In college, probably. All right, Eric, 18 and 16, so probably a senior, or was a senior. I guess we're all in summer now, right? Senior and 16-year-old. Perfect. I've got almost a 16-year-old. Samantha, 7 and 10. All right, so a little bit younger. Abby, 12 and 15. Good ages. Perfect. We're right in the thick of it. This is perfect timing. Jocelyn, 16 and 14. Awesome. Todd from Wyoming. Welcome. Hey, we don't get many people from Wyoming. Thanks for joining us. All right, Wyoming, 18-year-old going to college for the first year this fall. Awesome. Brandy, one in college, one in junior in high school. Awesome. Tammy, 21-year-old, last year of college. How's it been? So far, so good? Expensive? Yeah. All right. Oops, hold on. I got to keep letting everybody in to the waiting room. Okay, I think everybody's coming in. Phil's coming in. All right, perfect. Let's see here. Where was I? Michael, 16, 13, and 11. Nice. Awesome. Kathy, 9-year-old. Becky, 18 and heading to college. Starting college. Colleen, Estisa, soon to be senior in high school. Lily, 13 and 20. Lily, I'm guessing is your 20-year-old on the verge of being done. Hopefully, you don't have your camera on, but yes, Lily says, awesome. Well, very cool. All right, so you've had some experience already. Jason, 18, rising college freshman, 16 and 13. Perfect. Tammy, just graduated one at UKY. Awesome. Congratulations, Tammy. EJ, our youngest, just graduated from college, ACU. Awesome. Lily, yes, senior at work. Sorry. All right, no worries. You can keep. Hey, if you're at work, no, I won't tell. You can just keep your headphones in, pretend you're working. That's all good. All right. Okay, so I think we've let everybody in. It's 5 minutes after the hour. We're going to go ahead and kick this off and get started here. I want to start out by just introducing myself. Let me share my screen. I'm going to go back and forth between sharing my screen. We'll see if we can get fancy with our technology here. This is my motley crew here. As you can tell, there's a reason why I'm so passionate about this topic of college funding. These are not all mine. We've got some married-ins now. The guy on the left is our son-in-law, David, who married Liza, who is next to him, obviously. Over on the other side, the tall guy, obviously, he didn't get my genes. So he is also engaged to my daughter that he is standing next to. My oldest two daughters are in college. And then I've got a high schooler as freshman in high school, a middle schooler, and the little guy in the middle is in elementary school. So I've got a very wide range. As you can tell, I've got my hands full when it comes to college funding. So a little bit about my background. Several years ago, I got into the financial industry. And I did all of the traditional stuff. I was paying off my house. I was putting money into a 401k plan, and I was saving money for my kids' college in traditional 529 plans and some other savings vehicles. And I thought I was doing everything right. I had my savings, I had my retirement going, I had my college funding going, or college savings going. I had everything going fairly well, it seemed like. And then I decided that the company that I was with didn't have all of the products that I needed. They were very limited on what they could offer, and I decided to go out on my own. I had to walk away from a pretty significant six-figure income that I had built up, and I had to start all over. And it turns out that a few friends and family came with me, and I got sued for my non-compete. And it led to a number of events. Also, the timing of this being during the recession didn't help. Long story short, I went through the worst financial setback of my life. Literally lost everything. Of course, my savings disappeared pretty quick as I was trying to get my business up and running. I had to cash out my 401k and take all of those hits, taxes, penalties, and everything that comes along with that. And I'm sad to say that I even had to use my kids' college education to try to survive. It was not an easy time. We actually lost our house on the day that my youngest daughter was born. We had to be out. My wife was 9 months pregnant, and it was miserable. So needless to say, I had to start all over. I had to really reevaluate what I was doing. I really wanted to help my kids be able to pay for college because it wasn't their mistake. It was my mistake. I needed to I wanted to make sure I could help them pay for college even if I had to work the rest of my life. So the first thing that I was focused on was really helping them save for college and being able to have enough money to catch up. Now keep in mind, I was behind. I had to start all over. So I started to ask myself if what I was doing and if what I was teaching others to do was really the best option, or if there were maybe some other options, some options that were maybe more outside the box. And so long story short, I ended up running into my mentor who taught me a lot of what I know today. His name is Don Blanton, and he is the founder of a company called Money Tracks and created this program called the Circle of Wealth. And what he does is he teaches financial strategy. See, I was always focused on products. I always thought that if I had access to more products, then I could sell more and things like that, or help more families. And I always thought it was about the golf clubs. I always thought I needed a good selection of golf clubs, and I needed the best golf clubs. I needed all the right products. But turns out what I was taught in this program that I went through, I spent about $15,000 and took about a year to go through this program. What I learned was that money is more about a strategy. It's more about a game. We were taught that it's like the game of tic-tac-toe. Once you learn all the rules, then it's easier to win. And so today, what my hope is that I want to help all of you to understand the strategies of how to pay for college. It's not about products. I know some of you might have 529 accounts. I know some of you might think you're going to tap into your retirement, or maybe you're going to try to cash flow it, or maybe you don't have enough saved, so you're going to take out some loans. Whatever the case may be, I want to show you some ideas and some things to think about that would help you to be able to have a good college funding plan. Now, if you're like me, I was always struggling between saving for my kids' college and saving for retirement. It seems like it was like this conflict because I wanted to save just enough for college, but I didn't want to sacrifice my retirement. And what I learned was that I didn't have to choose. I could actually accomplish both. I could help my kids pay for college without sacrificing my retirement. And I was also able to make up for a lot of lost time because of some strategies that I'm going to teach. And so that is my background. I was a licensed fiduciary. I was teaching all of the traditional stuff, all of the traditional financial strategies. And what I learned was that sometimes what we think is the right thing to do is not always the right thing to do. There are some other options that sometimes we just don't know about. Okay, so I want to talk about 3 ways to pay for college. Now, we're going to talk about some pros and cons, some of which you may not have thought about before, because I know I hadn't. I had about 8 years of experience in the financial industry, and when I heard about some of this stuff, I just shook my head and asked myself, why haven't I heard about this before? But the first thing we're going to talk about is paying cash, or paying out of pocket, using your cash flow or your savings or even your retirement to actually pay directly for college. The second option that we're going to talk about is borrowing the money, in other words, loans. Now, we're going to look at some things and some considerations that maybe you haven't thought about before. And then finally, there's not really a word for it, so I made up a word called the Retirement Scholarship Strategy. I actually wrote a book that was an Amazon best-selling book called The Retirement Scholarship Strategy on this third topic. And that is what we're going to talk about as the third option, third way of paying for college. And this is something that I learned during this year that I was going through this educational program, financial educational program. This is the strategy that I learned that I was shocked that I hadn't known about before. And that's what I want to share with you. Now, before we dive into that, I want to give you a little story. So my favorite thing to do is to go to Lake Powell in southern Utah. It sits on the border of Utah and Arizona, down at the very bottom of Utah. And we like to kick off our summer. We just got back a couple weeks ago. We like to kick off our summer with a week in Lake Powell on a houseboat with some friends. And it is so much fun. If you've never been to Lake Powell, you got to add it to your bucket list. It is the most gorgeous place on earth. And it is so much fun to go boating, ride wave runners around, paddle boards, whatever it is. Now, when you're in Lake Powell, you have these houseboats that are tied up to these big bags so they don't float away. Now, if you imagine this big, heavy boat pulling on these ropes for a week, you can imagine how tight those knots get by the time the week is up, right? Now, when we go into the marina, we're also going for about 3.5 hours in a houseboat pulling our other boats, like this boat in the picture on the right. And of course, you want to make sure that that boat is tied up correctly so that you don't lose the boat on the way in. Well, one thing about knots is that there are two characteristics of a good knot. First of all, you want the knot to stay tied. Okay, my friend tied up his boat on the way in and it came untied. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a houseboat, but it is not very easy to turn around a houseboat and go chase a boat that comes untied. So the first thing is you want your knot to stay tied. The second thing is you want to be able to untie your knots very easily. So when it came time to untie our houseboat and leave to go home, some of the people who tied up those knots did not tie the correct knot. And it was extremely difficult to get the knots untied. Now, as a scout, I've been a scoutmaster for several years. I grew up as a scout. I love rock climbing, and so I love knots. I'm just a big fan of all knots, and so I love tying knots. And like I said, there's two important things. Number one, the knot has to stay tied. If you think about your shoes, how many of you tie a regular old shoe knot that comes untied all day long? Raise your hand if you're always retying your shoes or your kids' shoes, right? So then what do? You do a double knot so that it doesn't come untied. But then you're like picking at it, trying to untie it. Well, did you know that if you're tying your shoes, all you have to do is wrap it around one more time, and it's called a surgeon's knot, and it will actually stay tied all day long. But when it's time to untie it, you just pull the string and it comes untied very easily. But nobody ties their shoes that way because that's not how we were taught to tie shoes. Now, why isn't everyone doing it? Why is everyone tying their shoes with knots that don't work? Well, because that's just how we were taught. Now, the reason why I bring up this example is because when we talk about these 3 ways to pay for college, they all work, okay? All of these ways work. Some are just better than others. So if you tie the wrong knot, it might stay tied. It might do the job, right? It might stay tied, but it might be hard to untie. So I don't want you to think that any one of these 3 ways are necessarily bad. It's just that some are better than others. And that's what we're going to talk about is all the pros and cons to these 3 ways. All right, so let's start off with paying out of pocket or using our savings and cash flow, okay? So it looks like this. You save your money, right? And then you spend it. It's that simple. Some of you started when your kids were young. I know I started when my kids were young because I had 5 kids, so I knew I was going to need to start early. Now, unfortunately, I had a financial setback and had to start over later in life. But if you start early when your kids are young, you can save and have enough money for them to go to college. And then when they go to college, you can just pay cash. Now, here are some considerations, okay? The benefits are that you get compounding interest. If you needed to save $300,000 for your kids to go to college, if you started early enough, you might only have to come up with half of that out of your pocket because maybe the other half is interest. Maybe you get a little help from compounding interest. But what about the opportunity cost? Okay, we're going to talk about the opportunity cost and we're going to talk about the free money that you might not get from the colleges. So the other benefit, of course, is that there's no loan interest, right? You don't have to pay any loan interest. But there are two costs to consider. There's the opportunity cost, and then there is the free money that you might get from the colleges, but that you might not get because you have all this money saved for college. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, when you're filling out your financial aid forms, they're going to ask you about your income and your assets. And if you have a bunch of college savings sitting there, it's going to be harder to negotiate financial aid and scholarships. So whether you make millions of dollars or not, there's still scholarship money. Even if you don't qualify for financial aid, there's still scholarship money. But it's going to be very difficult to negotiate this free money if you have a lot of money saved for college. That's something that a lot of people haven't considered. But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about what we call opportunity cost. Now, I'll never forget sitting in this class, learning about all these financial concepts. And the most aha moment that I had was when he started talking about opportunity cost. Now, what is opportunity cost? Well, opportunity cost is the money that you could have earned if you didn't pay cash. So let's take a look at some visuals here. All right. So this represents your financial situation. You have lifetime capital potential. This is your income. Your income comes through monthly cash flow. You're going to save a little money for retirement. But if you're putting your money into a 401k, it's going to look like this because the government is going to own a portion, right? The government is going to own a portion of that retirement. And then you're going to save some money into what we would call a safe tank. Now, for many of you, we've all been taught to save and then spend. So it would look like this. We save a little money, we spend it. We save a little money, we spend it. We save a little money, and we spend it. I remember when I got my first job, I told the HR department, I said, I want you to put all of my income into my checking account, and then I want you to put 10% of my income into my savings account. And that happened every single month. And my savings went like this every single month. I wasn't very good at letting that savings continuing to grow. I would grow it, and then there was always something to spend it on. I would grow, and then I would spend it. I would grow, and then I would spend it. So what is the cost associated with that? Well, let's just say that college is going to cost you $100,000. If college is going to cost you $100,000, now, I understand, for all you engineers on the call, I understand that it's more like an annual amount that you're going to pay. It's not all at once. You know, you might also go out of state, and it's going to cost a lot more than $100,000. You might go to an Ivy League top tier private school, and that could cost, even more. But let's just keep it simple with easy math and say that we're going to pay $100,000 for college. So you might think that the cost of college is $100,000, right? But the reality of it is if that money had been earning a 5% interest rate, then even just in a 5-year window, there is $28,000 of interest that you're not going to earn, right? That's the interest that you're not going to earn. Now, let's just say that you are in your 50s. If you are in your 50s, you've probably got at least 20 to 30 years, if not 40 or 50 years left. But let's just look at 20 years. Over at the next 20 years, which puts you right into the beginning of your retirement years, right? You're in your early 70s. In just 20 years, by paying $100,000 for college, that $100,000 could have earned $171,000 of interest, totaling $271,000. So college did not cost $100,000. College cost $271,000 out of your retirement. That's the cost. That's the opportunity cost. If I want to go buy a new boat, okay, if I want to go buy a new boat that's costing me $100,000 to buy a new boat, or even $250,000 nowadays, it's not the $100,000 for that boat. It's the $100,000 and what that could have earned for my retirement. So by me, if I chose to pay $100,000 for a new boat, it would really cost me $271,000 in my retirement if that money could have earned 5%. Now, I had a client once that said, hey, I love my 529 account. My 529 account is doing awesome. It is earning 8%. And I said, wow, that's unfortunate. He said, what do you mean it's unfortunate? 8% is a great rate of return. And I said, you're right, 8% is an excellent rate of return. But now you're going to be spending that money on college, which means it's going to cost you 8% interest. Okay? It's going to cost you 8% interest in retirement over the next 20, 30, 40 years. That's $392,000 of interest that you're not going to earn. Okay? Now, the final balance would be $492,000 just to pay that $100,000 for college. That is what we call the opportunity cost. Okay? Now, questions on that so far? That's the first way to pay for college. Two considerations. The cost, the opportunity cost of paying for college. So it's the cost of college, and it is going to be the opportunity cost and whatever free money that you could have earned that you're not going to get. Now, let me give you a little tool. Let me give you a little tool that you can use to calculate your cost of college. You're going to go to calculator.educationfundingplan.com. Calculator.educationfundingplan.com. I will put that in the chat. Boom. There we go. Hold on. Did that go? Oh, wait. Hold on. Everyone in the meeting. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. You should have that in the chat there. Okay. So you're going to go to calculator.educationfundingplan.com and you're going to create an account. I'm just going to sign in and I'm just going to grab my test account. Okay. So let's say that you have two kids in college. Two kids. Let's just say you have two kids with a college inflation rate of 5%. Okay. Let's say that we have a 16-year-old with 2 years until college. And let's say we've got a 14-year-old with 4 years until college. Let's say that they're going to be in school for 4 years. And let's say they're going to a state school that is going to cost about $30,000 in today's dollars. Now, of course, my inflation calculator will calculate the future cost, and that is going to be $142,000 estimate. That's the estimate, $142,000 for the oldest, and $157,000 for the youngest. So we're pushing a good $300,000, right? $300,000, that is the cost. And then we have to figure out, of course, if it's going to cost us $300,000. And if our money could have earned, let's just say even 6%, if our money could have earned 6%, then the cost of paying $300,000 for college is $693,000 of interest that I'm not going to earn, which is going to cost me about just shy of $1 million out of my retirement. Okay? All right. Let's see here. Let's go back over here. Where is my... Here we go. All right. Now, let's talk about borrowing the money. Okay, let's talk about loans. Well, what are some things to consider? Okay, first of all, you might need to borrow some money because you don't have enough money saved. Anyone want to raise their hand? Raise your hand if you don't have enough money saved for college, just so everybody can realize that they're not alone. Anyone? There's a little hand raise. I think you've got a little hand raise feature on your little Zoom dilly there. You can just go down there and hit like a raise hand option. Oh, we've got some hands coming in. There we go. We've got some hand raises coming in. All right. So you can see that you're not alone. You're not alone. Why? Because college is so dang expensive, right? Nobody ever expected that college was going to cost this much. At least most people didn't, right? So if college, okay, now a little less embarrassing, maybe if you're embarrassed to admit that you don't have enough money saved. How many of you, raise your hand, if college is more expensive than you thought it was going to be? Now, I'm counting on some of you that have kids in college. I know some of you already have kids in college. Put it in the chat and say, yes, college is more expensive, or yes, just put a thumbs up or a yes or something like that. If college is more expensive than you thought it was going to be. Now, as we can see, I don't know, where'd my chat go? There's my chat. All right, pulled up. All right, yes, we've got some. Yep, there we go. College. All right, yes, the college I wish my daughter could go to are more expensive. Yes, exactly. Private college, way more. Okay, so here's the thing. It's not uncommon to not have enough money saved for college for two reasons. Maybe you had a financial setback like I did. Maybe you were saving for college, but you weren't saving enough because you didn't realize how much it was going to be. Whatever the case may be, you may need to take out loans. Okay? You may need to take out loans. Here's the good news. The good news is you can borrow the full amount. Doesn't matter how much you make. It doesn't matter how little you make, because quite frankly, the government doesn't even ask you how much money you make. Okay? So there's private loans, there's government loans, there's a lot of different ways to borrow money. But you can borrow the full amount to pay for college. And those payments can be deferred. Those payments can be deferred until 6 months after graduation. Okay? Those payments can be deferred until 6 months after graduation. There's also what we call income-driven repayment plans, which are things that you might want to consider. I don't have time to go into that on this call. But there are what we call income-driven repayment plans that could save you a lot of money. And another my checkbox. Anyway, the other benefit is that if you're borrowing the money to pay for college, it's easier to say, hey, I need some free money. This is costing me, I need some help to pay for college. I need some scholarship money. I need some financial aid money. Now, if you're paying cash, it's kind of hard to convince them that you need money, right? All right. Now, the other things to consider. You've got the interest on the loans. That's the obvious, right? We've got interest on the loans. Now, we've also got the opportunity cost. Going back to our last topic, there's the opportunity cost on the interest. If you had an investment that was being taxed every year, it's not just the money you're paying in taxes. It's because that money that you pay in taxes is not earning interest. So it's the opportunity cost on the money you pay in taxes. The same thing on interest. If you're paying interest to a bank or to the government on a loan, that money is not earning interest. There is an opportunity cost on the interest that you have to pay on those loans. And then, of course, we've got loan payments. We have to make a payment every month on those loans. And that's money that's not going towards retirement. If you're paying $1,000 a month on a college loan, that's $1,000 a month that's not going towards retirement. So there is the opportunity cost of those loan payments, because that's money you could have saved for retirement. So here's what it would look like. Let's go back over here to our visuals. And it looks like this. So we don't have enough saved. We don't have enough saved, so we borrow. And when we borrow the money, we are going to typically make those payments with future income. Because we don't have the money, right? If we had the money, we could have paid cash. But if we don't have enough money to pay cash, and we borrow the money, how are we going to pay back those loans? We're going to pay back those loans with future income. We're going to pay back those loans with future income. Okay? Now, let's look. Let's take our same $100,000 and let's borrow $100,000. Now, the default loan payment is 10 years. Okay, so if we borrow $100,000 to pay for college, now again, I know that you're going to be borrowing it each year. You're not borrowing it all up front. Okay, but if you're borrowing the $100,000 at 5% and it's a 10-year loan, then your monthly payment is going to be around $1,000 a month. So you're going to be paying $27,000 of interest on that loan. Okay? But that interest could have been earning interest, right? There's the opportunity cost on that interest. So it looks like this. The red is the interest. The yellow is the opportunity cost of that interest. Now, it doesn't just stop there. There's the payments. Okay, so we've got in the maroon here, we've got our payments. That's $1,000 a month payment, right? We've got $1,000 a month payment that is not going towards our retirement or our savings. And then, of course, we have the opportunity cost on those payments. If I'm making $1,000 a month payment on loans, that's $1,000 a month that's not going towards my savings or my retirement. Okay, so the total cost of ownership, the total cost to borrow $100,000 is my principal payments, my $1,000 a month, the interest on that loan, the opportunity cost of my payments, and the opportunity cost of the interest. You ready for this? $164,000 is the total cost over 10 years to borrow $100,000. Notice the similarity? The exact same cost to pay cash. Now just let that sink in for a minute, because I remember the first time I learned this, that was kind of one of those like aha moments, okay? If you consider all the opportunity costs, it costs you the same to borrow the money as it does to pay cash. Now, here's the deal. If you saved that $100,000 from the time your kids were born, then maybe you only had to come up with 50 of that out of your pocket, and maybe the other 50 you got from compounding interest. So I'm not telling you that, taking out loans is better than saving. Everyone should save because you can get a little help, right? You can get a little help from compounding interest if you save early enough. But now that you have the money, you have $100,000 saved, and you're either going to pay cash or you're going to borrow the $100,000. It doesn't matter which one you do. They're going to cost you the same. Everyone is going to finance college. You're either going to pay interest on loans or you're going to lose the interest that you could have earned on your money. Okay, now, what if we take out a 20-year loan? Same thing. Still costs the same. Okay, now what if we could earn 6%? What if we could earn 6% on our savings? And what if we could borrow the money at 5%? Now, is it better to use our savings or is it better to use our loans? Put it in the comments. Let's make sure you're still with me and this is all making sense here. Go into your chat there. What would you rather do? If you could earn 6% on your savings and you could borrow at 5%, would you rather use your savings or would you rather borrow? Better to use the loan, EJ says. All right, Mark says loans. Sonia, loans. Bob, loans. Tatiana, loans. All right. Now, isn't that crazy? I mean, we've been taught our whole lives to avoid loans. Why? Why? Because our savings accounts are typically only earning 1% and it's going to cost us 5% on the loans. So of course it would be better to use your savings because your savings isn't worth anything. If your savings isn't worth anything, it's better to use your savings. But if your savings is worth something, it's better to take out loans. Okay, so let me ask you this. Put it in the chat. If Elon Musk wants to go buy a boat or buy a house on the beach somewhere or buy a space shuttle, whatever he does with his money, is he going to sell his Amazon stock? Or sorry, not Amazon, sorry, Tesla. Wrong guy. Wrong billionaire. If Elon Musk, is he going to sell his Tesla stock? Or is Jeff Bezos going to sell his Amazon stock? Are they going to sell their stock so that they can go pay cash? Or are they going to borrow the money? What do you think? Put it in the chat. Borrow the money. If Robert Kiyosaki, if Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, if he wants to go buy an apartment building, is he going to sell some other real estate so he can go pay cash for that apartment building, or is he going to get a loan? So what I'm trying to help you to understand is that loans are not bad if you use them strategically. Okay? If you can borrow the money for a lower rate that you can use on your than you can earn on your savings. Okay, now let's move on to the last topic, okay? The last strategy, the last way to pay for college. All right? We've looked at paying cash. We've looked at borrowing the money. Now we're going to look at what I call the retirement scholarship strategy. It's just a play on words, but I'm going to show you how you can get some free money in retirement, basically. And there's a word called collateral. Does everybody know what collateral means? Okay. Now, when you're taking out college loans, are those secured loans or unsecured loans? I was talking to a client the other day that was shocked of how expensive the college loans were, the high interest rate of the college loans. But are college loans secured or are they unsecured? In other words, is there any collateral? Okay? Is there any collateral when you take out a college loan? No. Okay? They're unsecured. There's no collateral, meaning let's contrast that with your house. If you have a house and you have a mortgage on the house, what happens if you don't pay your mortgage? They take your house, right? Your mortgage is secured. It's called a secured loan because there's collateral. Your house is collateral. Your house is being used to secure the loan. If you go get a car loan and you don't make your car payment, what do? They take your car, right? Your car is being used as collateral. Now, did you know that you could have some money in the stock market and you could use that money in the stock market as collateral and take out a loan? They call that a margin loan. Did you know that if you were earning interest, if Elon Musk has Tesla stock that is cruising along. Instead of selling it, he can use it as collateral to take out a loan. Now, why would he want to do that? So that he doesn't have to sell his stock and pay taxes. He doesn't want to have to pay capital gains taxes. And he doesn't want to interrupt the compounding interest. Now, watch this. Okay? Watch this. If I can get a loan at 6% and my stock is cruising along at 10%, is it better for me to sell my stock and interrupt that compounding interest, or is it better for me to take out a loan? What do you think? It's better to borrow, right? It's better to borrow. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat. Okay? It's better to borrow. Now, did you know that you could use your savings account, which is safe, that could be earning 6 to 8%? And did you know, let's start over here, 6 to 8%. Did you know you can borrow the money at 5% to pay for college using your safe account as collateral? Okay. Now, here's where it's going to get a little crazy. If I take out a home equity loan, or if I take out any other kind of loan, I have to make a payment. So there is an opportunity cost on the payment. Let's walk through this. Okay, so I have my $100,000. I'm earning 6%. I'm borrowing the money at 5%. And we're talking about a 20-year window here. A 20-year window. Okay? We already know that it's better to borrow the money if we're going to get a lower rate of return. Okay? It's better to borrow the money. Now, watch this. If I'm paying $660 a month, there is an opportunity cost on that loan payment. What if I didn't have to pay $660 a month? What if I didn't have to make a loan payment? What if there was a loan that didn't require a loan payment? Watch this. What if that loan payment was zero? Okay? What if that loan payment was zero? Now, check this out. Let me go back to this 5% and 5% here, okay? If I don't make a loan payment, what happens to the loan balance? It goes up, okay? I like the cameras. This is helpful, okay? If I don't make a loan payment, the loan goes up. So therefore, my interest is going up, right? My interest is going up and my opportunity cost on my interest is going up. But guess what? Even if I don't make that loan payment, the cost is still the same. Because I'm not making a payment, so I'm not paying down that loan. So my interest is not getting less. But as long as my payment is going, or as long as my loan balance, as long as my loan balance is going up at 5 and my interest is at 6 and I have 30 more years to live, the difference between $446,000 and $600,000 is over $150,000. That's what I call getting money back in retirement. So we're still talking about $100,000 for college. But now we've got extra money back, right? We've got money back that we can use in retirement. We've got our money back. We've basically got a refund. We've got a refund on this $100,000. Does that make sense? Now, what if I wanted to put that money, instead of making a loan payment, what if I wanted to put that loan payment towards my compounding interest? Even better. Okay? Even better if we don't have to make a loan payment. So, how do we do that? How can we let our savings compound? How can we let our savings compound? Use our savings as collateral. Well, I got to move all my windows here. Sorry, got windows everywhere here. Okay, so we're going to let this compound the rest of our lives at 6 to 8%. And we're going to borrow the money at 5% without any loan payments to pay for college. And this is how we do it. It's called life insurance. Now, remember, I was a financial advisor teaching 529 accounts, retirement accounts, assets under management, and I always taught people that life insurance was a horrible investment. It was really expensive. The fees were really high. That you shouldn't use life insurance for, keep insurance, investments. I mean, I said all of the same things. Now, then I started learning about this concept. Tony Robbins, he talks about this in his book in chapter 5. He talks about the secrets of the ultra wealthy. And he teaches this exact concept that I'm talking about. I also read a book called Tax-Free Retirement that talks about the same thing and talks about using life insurance. And what I learned was that there's a way to keep the fees really low if you know how to set it up correctly. So if you set this up correctly, the fees are actually less than 1% over time. And the life insurance, if you use the correct vehicle, the life insurance is going to earn around 6 to 8% without any stock market losses. That's why it's in the safe tank. It's not over here in the risky tank because it's guaranteed to never lose. Historically, the average returns have been in that 6 to 8% range. And the insurance company will let you borrow the money at 5% without any loan payments. Now, if you don't make any loan payments to the insurance company, what's going to happen to your loan balance? It's going to go up. What's going to happen to your account? Your account's going to go up. The loan balance is going to go up. When you die, the insurance company is going to take the money that you owe them because they used your money as collateral. Okay? They used your money as collateral. So this was always a secured loan. There was never any risk. Okay? Because the insurance company won't let you borrow more money than you have to use as collateral. They're using your money as collateral to secure the loan. Now, a lot of you have kids in college and you have kids that are in high school. So you might need to take out some college loans to pay for college. Then 6 months after graduation is when you can start using the life insurance to pay back those college loans. So yes, this is going to work even if you have kids that are already in college. It's going to work even if you have kids that are in high school. And it's definitely going to work if you have younger kids. Okay? And that's the concept. The concept is is that your money is going to grow uninterrupted. It's going to compound interest uninterrupted. Now, I'm guessing you're going to have lots of questions. So we're going to turn this over to Q&A in just a minute. But here's the concept. What if you could borrow money without required loan payments for less interest than you could earn on your savings? It would look something like this. Okay, so there's three components that you need: uninterrupted compounding interest, loans at a lower interest rate, and then these optional loan payments. That's the idea. Okay, now I am going to just jump down here for a minute because I know we're pushing our hour here. Okay, so if you want to see your specific numbers, if you want to see what your numbers would look like in this whole thing, okay, then let's run some numbers for you, okay? Let's talk. Let's run your numbers and let's answer any of your questions. Let's dive into the details. There's absolutely no obligation. It's completely free. Now, on this call, if you go to retirementscholarship.com, on this call, we're going to first and foremost help you calculate how much college is going to cost. We have a lot of tools and resources that will help you to figure out how much free money that you might get from the schools, how much financial aid, how much scholarship money, and we will use our calculator to help you calculate what they call your EFC number, which they've now called the SAI number. But basically, it's your number that determines how much free money you might get, is really what it boils down to, okay? We're going to help you calculate that number, and then we're going to help you calculate how much free money you might be able to get from the schools so that we know how much college is going to cost, or at least we have a pretty good idea of how much college is going to cost. Then we're going to walk you through that calculator, and we're going to help you figure out, this is the calculator over here that we were playing with. We're going to figure out what your future loan payments might look like, and we're going to help you figure out how much money you need to save to be able to accomplish your goals, whether you have 1 student or 10 students, doesn't matter. We're going to help you figure out what is your college funding plan. Okay, what is your college funding plan? Then we're going to help you figure out, some of these other strategies that I've learned over the years. Maybe your kids are already done with college. Maybe you might feel like it's a little bit late for your college savings plan. But this is just one strategy that I learned in this time that I spent going through this program. And so we'll help you with other strategies that could significantly increase your retirement income so that you can help your kids pay for college without sacrificing your retirement. If you already have college loans, we will help you figure out strategies to reduce those college loan payments and those college loans. We'll look at income-driven payment plan options and some of these other government programs that are out there. So we will walk you through the entire college funding program, right? This is what I call the college funding solution call, all right? So this college funding solution call is at retirementscholarship.com. We're going to help you with your complete college funding solution. Now, this is completely free. There's no obligation. We'll meet with you several times to go through this whole process to be able to run these numbers for you and to be able to show you exactly how this applies to your strategy. So picture a day when you actually have a plan in place, when you know exactly what your college funding plan looks like, when you have peace of mind knowing that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Also, picture a day where your kids finally realize what you've done for them, the sacrifices that you've made for them to help them be able to have the education of their dreams and the career of their dreams. And they come to you one day and they say, Mom or Dad, thank you so much for all the sacrifices you made to help me with my career. And then, of course, picture a day when you actually have your own retirement of your dreams, even after helping your kids pay for college. Now, this will apply to anyone, whether you have young kids or whether you have older kids. This will apply to those of you who have exceptionally gifted students that are going to get some scholarship money, and those of you who have students that are gifted in other ways. All right. This is going to help you no matter whether or not you have no money saved for college. Even if you have no money saved for college and you have a senior in high school, this will still apply to you. And it will also apply to you if you have been able to save enough money for college. Even if you've saved enough money for college, you already have a huge 529 account, we will walk you through ways that you can still implement these strategies. All right. Now, the site, yes, the link to that, I'm going to actually put that in the chat so you can just click on it. It does actually forward right over to here. Boom, there's the calendar. Okay. Right. All right. The question is about Ligeti. Ligeti is just our company name. We use College Funding Secrets is what we usually talk about, but Ligeti is just the official company name. All right. Okay. So who would like to ask a question? Go ahead, put your questions in the chat or raise your hand. Now, if you have your hand raised, I'm going to unmute you. If you have your hand raised from earlier, because I know earlier we were having you raise your hand. Jason, I see your hand is raised. If that's for a question, then leave your hand up and I will unmute you. If that was from earlier, you can lower your hand. But raise your hand if you have any questions. And then also raise your hand if you have if you would like to just give us some feedback on your biggest takeaway. I would love to hear your biggest takeaway, your biggest aha moments. So raise your hand and we will unmute you. Don't be bashful. Let's see here. Or you can also put your questions or comments in the chat as well. All right, Andrew, I have lots of questions, but I have to run. I'll schedule a call next week. Thanks. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for being on. Thanks for having your camera on. Thanks for the thumbs up. All right. Thanks, Andrew. I'll let you run. All right. Jocelyn, this was great. Thank you. I have to go to a 2 p.m. meeting. No worries. No worries. I know we're coming up. We're pushing up on our hour. No worries. So if you need to jump off, that's not a problem. All right. So where's the best place to look for student loans? Maddie, there's a whole conversation around student loans. It depends on whether we're talking private loans or government loans. Please do not take out any loans based on interest rates. Interest rates are the last thing that you should consider when it comes to college loans. You need to understand what the government programs are and whether or not you're going to get some college or some loan discounts. You need to understand that first. If you're not going to get any government loan discounts, then I'll give you a link. We'll get you a link for the cheapest private loans for the lowest rate. But let's first make sure you're not going to get a discount from the government. Okay. What is the cost? Laura, there is no cost to this. This is all completely free. Why are we doing this for free? Because first and foremost, we can help you set up this insurance. And so, of course, we would get a commission on that. But second of all, we do have other services as well. If you need to help your kids get accepted to their dream school, we've got admissions experts that can help your kids get accepted to their dream school. If you need some test prep, we've got test prep tutors that can help you get to that top 1% on the ACT and SAT scores. If you need to narrow down schools and you need help you need an education consultant to help you narrow down your schools, we have those as well. So we have lots of other services that we offer, but this college funding solution is completely free. Does not cost you anything. Becky says, thanks, gotta go. No worries. Becky, thanks for being on. Lily, I am waiting for you to get back to me to sign me up. Okay, Lily, go to retirementscholarship.com, book a call. Go to retirementscholarship.com and book a call. Let's see here. Jason says, similar thoughts as Andrew. Thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, Jason, if you've got to run, no worries. I'll let you run, and we will talk to you soon. Mo says, great stuff as always. Thanks. I am already in process and looking forward to the next steps. Mo, nice to see you on here. Mo is a client of ours. Thanks for joining us. All right, perfect. And, we have your numbers. Lily, all right, book a call. Lily, I will make sure that myself or somebody on my team gets back to you. So we'll make sure. Hold on, let me just screenshot that. Make sure we got you taken care of. All right, we'll take care of you for sure. Let's see here. Anyone else? Sonia, I'm gonna unmute. Oh, Sonia, can you hear me? It looks like you're unmuted.
Yes. Hey, Lance.
Hey, Sonia, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
That we're on this call and it's recorded. Will we get an email so we can like review it on our own? Again, like my husband wasn't in on the call, and I can explain opportunity cost quite well now, but
Yeah.
I'd like him to listen to it as well.
Absolutely. I did hit record. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping the recording works. So, yes, if the recording works, you'll definitely get a copy of it for sure. Yep.
It'll just come to our email automatically.
I'm going to email it to you manually. Yeah, I'll have to email it to you. I'll shoot it
Lance.
over to you. No worries. What was your biggest takeaway while I got you on here? What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I really appreciated how you discussed opportunity cost. That was very clear. You probably should be teaching in the MBA program, because that's probably the best explanation of opportunity costs I've heard. So that was excellent. Thanks.
That was my biggest takeaway as well when I went through this year. It was an entire year that I went through this program. And that was my biggest takeaway as well, is this opportunity cost. It's so simple once you hear it, right? In fact, I want to leave you with this story. Well, actually, keep asking your questions, but I want to leave you with this thought. I love horses. That's my hobby. In fact, my daughter wanted a horse once, and we got it, and it wasn't very well trained. And so I started to learn about training horses as my hobby. I love to train horses. I'm not good at it, but it's fun, and I like to watch videos. And there's one particular horse trainer that I've watched lots of videos. Well, then this guy came into town to do this clinic, and I went to this 2-day clinic, and he taught pretty much the complete opposite of everything that I had been learning. I mean, I have spent hundreds of hours watching horse training videos, and then this guy comes along and teaches a completely different concept, but it made sense. What he was saying totally made sense. And I realized that what I had been learning may have been good, but he was teaching a better opportunity. And I realized that, we've all been taught about money, and we've all been taught to avoid loans. We've all been taught the interest on loans are bad. We've all been taught a lot of these concepts. And then you hear this kind of stuff and you're like, well, it makes sense, right? Logically, it makes sense. But it goes against what we've all been taught. So yeah, it just really messes with your head. That's for sure. It's a mental game. All right. Anybody else want to unmute? No other hands raised? You can shoot. If you don't know how to raise your hand, just put it in the chat that you want to chat, and I'll unmute you. All right. Lily says, can you let us know what a Parent Plus loan is? Oh, a Parent Plus loan is a government loan from the government. It's a loan from the government. It's a college loan from the government. That's for the parents to cover the cost of college, basically. All right. Oh, and by the way, if you book an appointment with us, as a bonus, you will get access to all of our trainings for all of our other courses on secret number 1. We have 3 college funding secrets, really. Secret number 1 is how to reduce the cost of college and maximize all the free money. You'll get all the trainings on that. Secret number 2 is taking advantage of all the government loan programs. You'll get the trainings on that. Secret number 3 is taking what I just went through into like several hours. We dive into this in a lot more detail. We have all this in a membership area. And then technically there's a 4th secret. We call it retirement restoration from college funding. And this is what I learned over an entire year. And I spent $15,000 to learn it. I've got it all inside of a membership area for you. So you can learn everything that I learned during that year. If you like this kind of stuff and you're fascinated about some of these financial strategies, you saw me playing around with this software. This software, I showed you just the tip of the iceberg. I go through all of these modules inside of our membership area, and we will give you access to that when you book a call with us. So just as a bonus for booking a call. I did put the link in the chat, retirementscholarship.com. You can click on that, book a call with us, and tell them that you want access to our membership area. All right. your security notifies you of malware to that site. I have that redirecting to a calendar link. Hold on. Let me give you one other link. Okay. If you have any issues with the SSL certification or whatever, click on that link that I just put in the chat there. That's another option. It'll go directly to the calendar thing here. Hold on. Boom, boom. Let's make that a little more simple here. Boom. All right, there you go. Click on that link. That'll take you right in. Okay, if you already have a 529, is college the only place you can use it, or do you recommend doing something else with it? Yes, Bob, that's a great question. There are some options that you can do with that 529 money. Some don't have any penalties and some do. We'll run the numbers for you, and you can use the numbers to decide what you want to do. But yes, sometimes there is a little bit of a hit on the interest that you might have to take if you want to move it, but you have to kind of weigh out those pros and cons. But we'll help you run those numbers. Maddie, I don't have that link handy, but just when you book a call, whoever you talk to, just tell them you want that private loan link, and we'll get that to you. Okay, now, for those of you who have booked a call, thank you. We're excited to help you run some numbers and show you how this works. If you have not booked a call, I would love to know what your thoughts are. Put it in the chat. Don't be bashful. Let me know what is holding you back from booking a call. I just want to make sure that I have explained everything well enough, because I know I went really, really quick and I barely scratched the surface of some of this. I know you may have some questions that may be holding you back, but what is holding you back from booking a call? Because like I said, it's completely free. No strings attached. We will help you run all these numbers. As a bonus, we'll help you calculate your EFC SAI number. We'll help you calculate the cost of college. We'll help you to figure out what your college funding plan looks like for your situation. But if you have anything holding you back, let me know. Sonia says, I need to review it with my partner who could not be on the call, and I suspect we will book a call this weekend. Perfect. Sonia, just go ahead and book the call if you want. And block something off, because our calendars do fill up. Block something off, and then make sure you watch the replay before the call if you want, just so that we know, just so that we don't bug you. If you book the call, then we know we won't bug you anymore. Mark says, we'll book a call after I watch the replay with my wife and coordinate a call with her. Okay, understood. I know a lot of you, we are in the middle of the day. I know it's hard to be together as a couple during the middle of the day. So if you do need to review this before you book a call, that's understandable. But you can also just pencil something in. You're going to get a link, a confirmation link after you book a call. And in that confirmation link, there's a button to reschedule. So you could just book a call to pencil something in. And then and that way you won't forget. And then there's a link if you need to reschedule, so you can reschedule later. Okay. And then Bob says, honestly, I've had the call, but I've not pulled the trigger yet. It all sounds too good to be true. What are the risks? There have to be some. Okay. Bob, I fully understand where you're coming from. Too good to be true is the number one concern that I get. In fact, that's the first concern that I had. I had that same too good to be true concept. The life insurance is going to earn a 6 to 8% return, and it's based on the bond market and the stock market, because they're putting most of your money in bonds, and then they take the interest on those bonds and they buy options in the stock market. So the return is based on it's based on bond markets and the stock market. Historically, it has been doing around 6 to 8. In fact, I'll show you the worst one that we have. Here's the worst one that we have. This has been about 15 years old. And as you can see, let me move some of my chats. Okay. As you can see, they started off with some zeros because this started during the recession. Then they got some double-digit returns, but you'll notice that there's 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 zeros. So that's a third of the time. And I know this hasn't been updated, but just to give you the concept. A third of the time, they did not earn anything, but they've still averaged 6. And it says in the contract that you can borrow money at 5 guaranteed and that you don't have to make any payments. So what's the risk? What's the downside? Well, the downside is that you don't earn 6 to 8% because the whole market crashes, right? The economy crashes. Well, if that's the case, if we are only earning on our life insurance, if we are only earning 3% and it costs us 5% to borrow the money, okay, then we're not going to borrow the money at 5%. Why would we borrow the money at 5%? Remember going back to our numbers. Why would I borrow the money at 5% if I'm only earning 3%? Because the U.S. has filed bankruptcy and we're not earning anything anymore. Well, in that case, I'm just going to use my money like I would originally. Going back to the first strategy, you save and then you spend. That's the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. Hopefully that helps. Where's my gosh, too many windows. All right. Okay, but Bob, I understand where you're coming from. I've always felt that is a very logical concern. Sonia, I have to book from home due to security issues where my work is. Okay, Sonia, just take a screenshot of that retirementscholarship.com, take a picture with your phone, and log in later. All right, Paula, unfortunately, I joined late and didn't get the link to book a call. We'll do so after I get it. Okay, Paula, the link is retirementscholarship.com. I also put it in the chat. Just click on that, block some time off. Laura, can you provide me with a phone number to book a call? All right, here is my personal phone number, 435-232-6673. Everyone in the meeting, boom. Okay, I just put it in the chat, 435-232-6673. That's 435-232-6673. Shoot me a text. If you call me, I'll probably be in a meeting, but shoot me a text and I'll get you the link. Okay. Cheryl says, not qualified for financial aid due to high FC. Can I still be qualified for scholarships? Most of my assets are in mutual funds. How can I reduce my EFC? Okay, Cheryl, if you reposition your mutual funds into something like this, it would be sheltered from that EFC calculation, your SAI calculation. Now, I would not do that until we have verified that that's going to save you money. There's a lot of people out there that are not making my life easier because they're going around to everyone saying, oh, you should just take every bit of your money and put it all into life insurance and you'll save money on college. That is not true. That is not true. It could help you save money on college. It could get you more free money, but we need to run the numbers first to verify. All right. And we need to see how much it's going to save you. We also have to look at any capital gains you might get. There's a lot of things that we have to consider before we do something like that. So book a call with us. Let's just put it all down on paper, run all the numbers, and help you to make a better, more educated decision on that. Lily said, are there fees associated with the life insurance policy? So the key to setting this up correctly is keeping the fees really, really, really low by keeping the insurance really, really low. Now, the reason why I always told people not to use life insurance is because of the high fees, but I didn't understand what the banks were doing. Let me explain what the banks are doing, okay? What the banks are doing is this, okay? The banks are using bank-owned life insurance. And like it says here, it's different than traditional life insurance contracts because it's got high cash value. That's the savings part, okay? High cash value is this green, okay? The green part. Lots of cash value, low insurance, okay? So that means that this is low, this is high. Lots of this, less of this. If you don't set it up that way, it's going to be too expensive, right? The cost, if you set it up correctly, the cost is low compared to other insurance products. And Tony Robbins basically talks about the same thing. Okay. Mark says, just booked next Monday afternoon. Awesome, Mark. Looking forward to chatting with you. Awesome. Cool. Okay. We are well over time. Hopefully the recording worked. Awesome. Okay, thanks for being on. It was very fun. Very fun to be able to see your faces. Thanks for those of you who shared your cameras. I know a lot of you were at work. A lot of you were eating lunch and couldn't share your couldn't share your cameras, but that's okay too. Thanks for being on. Thanks for participating. It was fun. It was fun to have you on, and hopefully we will get you a recording quickly so that you can show this to your spouses and significant others, and then book a call. Again, you've got my phone number. You've got the link to our calendar. You should be good to go. So thanks for being on. You guys have a great day, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye for now.